I think the most important thing for us this season is about consistency, and we're obviously disappointed with that from how we showed up in Perth against the Eagles. And so being able to turn things around with a young crew in such a small amount of time, from the Sunday game, returning from Perth on the Monday and then playing at home on Saturday against the D's, who looked almost unstoppable until they came to Alberton, and certainly played some good footy against us as well. So yeah, for us it's about how we show up and controlling what we can control, and it's a really strong and positive message for our group. And we do that well, you get the results we're after.
Are you starting to see shades of the 2024 side again?
I think this year needs to be about 2025, and there were some really great things we learnt in 2024 about our group, and then we've got some new players in as well. And so we have some positive reinforcements from last year, and then also it's this reset of what are we focused on this year, and it's very much about controlling how we show up and the level of consistency we can reach. And I think with young players individually, and then with a young group, it's like, what's the gap between your best and your worst? And we're still seeing reasonable gaps this year to this point, and so very much part of the focus this year is about minimising that gap.
How have you viewed your fourth quarters so far this year? Probably a couple of games you've led
Yeah.
back into it. What's happening the weekend again as well?
Yeah, we've spoken about our fourth quarters a little bit. I think again, some of it is a sign of maturity and how we manage in-game situations, and certainly it's something that we continue to build knowledge, and there's things you can talk about in a meeting, but being able to transfer understanding off the field into on-field in the moment, pressure's on, we're into save the game mode, and someone like Kate Hawes streaming out of centre bounce, there's a bit of a difference there. So I take it as a positive. We were able to secure the win, certainly under the pump there in the last couple of weeks with fourth quarters. And then it's like the exposure to those lessons are really healthy for our crew.
So you have an almost unstoppable Melbourne come here, in your words. What made them stoppable on the weekend? What did you guys do right?
Yeah, it's a great question, Max. I think the most important bit was focusing on us. I think if we focus too much on what Melbourne are good at, you probably go into the game thinking you're shot anyway. So our focus is very much on us, and that was about applying a level of pressure that we know when we're at our best. And to Simeon's point earlier, our pressure factor in 2024 was a highlight for us. We finished the whole year we finished second in the comp for pressure factor, and only North Melbourne were better than us last year. So it's revisiting that, and I think that was a crucial part of the win against Melbourne, and continuing to chip away at our offence. I think against good sides in finals type games, you've got to be able to score to win a game like that, and so that was important for us too.
How do you get a team to be a high pressure team every week when it seems like from the outside in, I suppose that's just an effort thing, right? But I know it's not.
Pressure factor is an interesting one. Like the way it's measured with Champion data is actually about, there's I think 7 different ways you can accumulate pressure factor, and most of it's effort based. And so the highest rating is based on physicality, and then other things where you can't apply a tackle because you're too far away, but if you chase, that contributes. So it's just helping the players understand how they can contribute to team defence, and it's also, I guess, some simplicity of your mindset.
The pressure shut down Melbourne's handball game. Geelong also loves a handball game. How do you bring that pressure again this week?
Yeah, I think it's healthy for us to see two teams 2 weeks in a row who like to handball heavy, and the pressure factor I think will help us again this week if we make sure we bring it. So yeah, Geelong have shown some really good footy, particularly in the last 2 weeks. They've banked 2 strong wins, and so they've got obviously a strong lineup. And again, for us, it's about focusing on what we do best, and if we do that, I think we give ourselves every opportunity.
How big of a game is it in the context of the season? Their percentage above you, how big of a game?
I just love that we get 12 games this year. It's round 6. It's a longer season and a very important one here at home at Alberton again. And I do want to shout out our fans. The turnout we had last Saturday after what's been some mixed results for us so far this season. I think it's really important that our fans get out and support us again this Saturday and get really loud against the Cats, and know that it is absolutely an important game, but in 12 games, every single one matters.
Are you happy with 12 for the moment, or the next couple of years? Would you like to go to 14 soon? Yeah, what's your kind of view?
It seems that the AFL is working towards in the future that we get closer to playing everyone once, and I think the closer we get to that, the better the comp is. And right now I'm stoked that we get 12.
How do you handle Chris Farkas? He's had a great season so far.
Yeah, she's one of their midfielders who's had a really good year so far, and certainly a top end player in the comp. And again, for our crew, we spend early parts of the week understanding our oppo, and then today's Thursday, we very much focus on us.
When you have a win like you had on the weekend, do you notice a difference in belief or vibe or anything around the girls?
Our crew's pretty good. We definitely were disappointed coming back from Perth. That was a tough one, and that flight's a bit longer than your average. So, our group, and particularly led by Justine Mills-Robinson as skipper, and our leadership group just turning around that mindset. And, I think when you've got 31 players on the list, we've got a handful who are progressing through ACL rehabs and bits and pieces, a couple who are not able to play this year. There's a fair bit of perspective in our group. So we always get to Thursdays and turn things around as quickly as you need to.
Listed as available. You must be pretty happy to see that finally.
Yeah, certainly both have worked incredibly hard for a long period of time, so selection will come through tonight, and I think both have worked away for a period of time. For Janelle, it's a tricky one. She's had different bits of injuries outside of her ACL rehab, and so there's probably a story there for her to get a little bit more footy under her belt before she's selected. So and then for Lauren, it's like we'd love to see her train strongly tonight.
Finally get out there and make her debut.
Yeah, she's a brilliant young person. It was actually her birthday this week, and someone who's I think there's like this balance of young people getting drafted out of state league and under 18 academies and things who've had a level of preparation, and then there's almost this silver lining for Lauren that it's been so challenging for her to go through the rehab that she's had to go through with her ACL and other bits and pieces. And then there's this silver lining where she's had a lot more time to build her body up for this level of competition than other draftees get. So I'm really looking forward to when she does play, the impact she can make with that extra time that she's had to prepare herself as an athlete.